Hello, Endpoint Pulse community. Welcome to another episode of Successful Implementation Stories from around the globe. And this is Siuli Kingsley. And with me here today, I have a solutions expert from the UK. He's also a cyber engineer. And I'm going to let him introduce himself to you.
Vanakkam. Thank you for having me. So I'm Gary. And I'm a solutions expert, as you say. So I come from a company called Client Global Services, and our team, our responsibility is to provide implementation projects to our customers. So essentially providing them a solution to their issues that they might have, or if they purchased the product recently, they're not sure how to use it, or they need to maybe comply to a certain compliance standard. We can provide that to them.
Okay, great. Welcome to our podcast once again. So before we start with the more technical questions, what do you do on a daily basis? Like, what does a day in a life of a solutions expert look like?
So what will happen is our customers will come to, so we have a company, Wayside Technologies, which is the company that we're umbrellaed by. So there's us, which are Client Global Services. So as I say, we do like the implementations, configurations, and then Client Channel Solutions. They will reach out to the customers and provide like the licenses and quotes and stuff like that. So once it comes over to me, I'll sit down with the customer and we'll go through what their pain points are, what they're looking for as part of the project, what their requirements are. We'll define and we'll sit and discuss and we'll project plan that. And then we have different types of deliveries. So it might be that the customer wants like a blended learning approach, which is quite popular. We can do that remotely. So over Teams, me and the customer will sit down, say on day one, and I let the customer drive. So it gives them the confidence very quickly to navigate around the product, get a good feel for what they're doing and where everything is. So I'll essentially handhold them and we'll build up the product together. And we also do different implementation types as well. It could be that, like a lot of companies, you haven't got, the time resources or the manpower. So again, what we'll do is we'll sit down with the customer and I'll project plan everything and get all their requirements. And then basically you hand me over the keys and I'll go in there and do it all for you, set it all up. We'll document everything and then we hand that solution to you at the end of the project. We'll show you around, show you what we've done, and then the bonus is you've got that documentation then to refer back to when I've gone, so you know exactly how it's been configured, why it's been configured that way. So that's typically what I do in a day, and that could be for Endpoint Central or Service Desk Plus, just because I look after both those products.
Okay. So in your line of job, I'm sure you would have come across, interesting journeys of customers with different struggles and challenges with, the rise of cybersecurity challenges. I'm sure, each implementation is unique and each customer would have a unique requirement. So could you share stories from your experience?
So we have a lot of customers that, as you say, have different requirements and they've come from different backgrounds. So it might be that some of our customers are reoccurring customers that have been using your products for a while. It could be that they're brand new to the application because they, want a different solution. But more reoccurring with the customers definitely that I deal with, compliance and cybersecurity is definitely on their lips, like pretty much like 99% of them. So what we try to do is provide them with an ultimate solution to everything that they're looking for. So whether it be, you know, like they need an implementation for their patching, but they also want to comply to, say, Cyber Essentials, which is quite common now as well. But they've also maybe looking to manage their corporate and personal data for like mobile devices. So that's where the product comes really useful. And a lot of customers now, they will want just a one solution. You know, they don't want to manage their endpoints with one application and then mobile with another, and then looking for, you know, kind of BitLocker solution. So that's something great about Endpoint Central, is we bring it all together for, you know, a centralized location. We just have the one product, so it's absolutely perfect for that. And the customers now, I think, just going back to your, you know, original question, is they're struggling with hitting that compliance with one solution, which is again what Endpoint does so well. So, you know, they're trying to get, you know, if it's, say, HIPAA compliance for, you know, the health industry, or Cyber Essentials, which again is quite common in the IT field. So that way they can tick all those boxes with just one product, and I think that's why a lot of customers are looking for this solution. Changing over to it.
True. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
While we're on the topic of compliances, I'm pretty sure like UK is, you know, well known for its compliance, GDPR and Cyber Essentials. So could you share a little bit more about the compliances and how you guide your customers through, you know, achieving compliance with the UEMS suite of products?
So again, customers will come to us, and part of their requirements might be, we've got obligation to hit a specific compliance. Again, quite commonly now, pretty much all of my customers that are looking for an endpoint solution say to me Cyber Essentials. So it might be that they've got it and they need to keep in compliance. It might be that they're looking for Cyber Essentials Plus, which is, you know, the next level. But more often than not, we have customers now that come into us that want to be, you know, Cyber Essentials compliant, and they're looking for, you know, that solution that's going to hit all those boxes. So what we do is we work closely with the customer and we look at the requirements from that compliance, and we hit all those boxes using the settings, features, configurations within the application. So if I give you an example with the Cyber Essentials, is one requirement for that is to make sure critical and high priority patches are patched within 14 days. So if you're doing that, you know, for hundreds or thousands of endpoints, and, you know, management want, you know, KPIs because they want the reporting, but also IT admins are under pressure, you know, putting out fires different places every day. The good thing about Endpoint Central is you can like there's a feature called test and approve, so you can test patches X amount of days before they're actually released into the environment, which we've seen such a, you know, huge success and popularity for that feature alone. So that way, we can set it up for the patching, so they're patched within 14 days. We're hitting the compliance, and obviously there's lots more boxes to tick, but that's just a small, you know, section of, you know, what's so good about the application for hitting these compliances. It makes it very easy. So
Thank you. So while we are on the topic of customers with different requirements, can you share a little bit about the customers you have in the UK region? Where are they from? What are the different industries you have customers from? And maybe a little more about that. And also, if you have customers from small industries to medium businesses to large enterprises, so how does that look like in the UK region?
Yeah, we get a lot of majority of the customers with small, medium enterprises, and of course, we have those bigger cases that they've got an enterprise and they've got wanting to manage thousands of endpoints, hundreds of endpoints. So yeah, we have all different types of customers. Again, they come from different types of industries, but around the whole, it doesn't really matter what type of industry they're from, because the one thing the Endpoint Central application is good for is universally good for hitting those requirements. And again, it could be any compliance that will help. Endpoint Central will help with, but it's got those features there. It's got those settings. So, but for our customers, again, they come from all different backgrounds. Whether it's from technology, it might be healthcare, it might be media. The like steelworks industry, all different types, but ultimately it all comes back to one thing: is you need to manage and secure your endpoints, and you need to. What I like to say to my customers is a proactive approach to your cybersecurity, which is like what the security add-on or the security license of the product does very well. And we're seeing a really big rise in customers coming up that want that feature because it's so good, it does it well. And as you were saying earlier, cybersecurity now is everywhere. It's so important. So
So while we're talking about compliances, I think the major goal of having those compliances and making sure that we achieve compliance is that we stay secure from cyber attacks. So have you come across any customers who have come to you after a cyber attack, or have you experienced any security incidents in your line of job? How do you deal with those customers, or how do you guide them through that process of recovery and coming back from those attacks?
Yeah, luckily I haven't had any customers where they've had a major cyber security attack, which is great. But what I have is I've had quite a few customers that have come after something in the environment has happened and caused them a lot of problems. So a good example of that is a patch has not been tested and it's been released to hundreds of endpoints. We all know, patches can have their bugs and stuff. So, but once it's out in the organisation and it's deployed to all of the machines, the rollback job just in itself for doing that can be, quite a task in itself. It become quite a project in itself, and it might be that patch is now a security threat because it's got a loophole or vulnerability in there. So. I've seen that quite commonly with customers. Going back to reassuring them after something's happened. Again, they will put their trust in me. I put my trust in your product. And I think that's a great relationship to have. And what that enables me to do is show them that, okay, I understand. In the past you've had this issue. It's caused you all of these problems, but the reassurance that it's okay now because you found the solution. You're here, you found it for Endpoint Central, for example. So you've got that solution, and let me tell you why you should be calm and more reassured because this happened in the past. Well, let me show you if this won't happen again because we use these set of features or these set of configurations. And I'll take them through how it's set up and why we're going to set it up that way. So we do test all the patches that come in, but not only do we test them, we're hitting your cyber essentials because we're making sure that it's done within a 14-day period. So that really calms the customer down, and it gives them such more relief and confidence. And then obviously the next part to that is kind of how do you say in India, like putting your money where your mouth is kind of thing. So you can say it will do all these things, but they want to see action. So that's where the testing comes in. We do like proof of concept as well. So not only am I telling them it will do this, I'm showing them, look, it will do this. This is how you do it. Let me show you it in action. And that brings the customer right back round and gives them reassurance and trust. And then what I'm doing there, I'd like to think, is then putting their trust in your company and your products as well. And then we find, obviously, that they like that product. Might be that in the future, they're looking for a new ticketing system, and then they start looking at other products. So, but it's a fantastic relationship to have.
So, about the management suite of products, and the UEMS suite of products. How do you think we stand in the competition today? I know we have a lot of different brands coming up. We have old products. We have a lot of competition in the UEM space right now. How do you think we stand in the market today when compared to the rest of the products?
Well, obviously, being in love with your products already, not to sound too biased, but in a way, unique. And I can sort of define that more for you by, IT admins now, customers will come to me, and they don't just want, one solution. They need a solution to something else, but they don't want an application for this, an application for that. Going back to like cybersecurity, now it's so important to secure the data and prevent those attacks by taking, again, what I like to have as a proactive approach. So I've worked with different products in the past and different solutions, and they do certain things well, maybe not so many things well. Customers that come to us might be happy with what they're using at the moment, but again, they've got another requirement, and the product doesn't quite do that. So they're looking for a solution where they can go to one application in a centralized location, and they can manage it all from there. And that's what Endpoint does so well. So just coming back to that's unique in itself. Because more and more customers come to me and they don't just want to patch and manage their endpoints. They want a mobile solution as well. But again, they don't want to be using another application. So obviously the application offers that at an enterprise license level. You can have that full suite. So just having that alone, that ability to just go into one user interface and I can manage everything from there is it's definitely unique in a word.
So following up with your previous question, what kind of feedback do you get from customers after using our product?
So we get really good feedback. So one thing that we do as part of a project is we send out what we call a statement of work. It's just a document that outlines everything that the customer wants, everything we're going to deliver as part of the implementation project, our T&Cs and stuff like that. But once we've delivered it at the end, we send another document for a sign-off. And in there, we have like a feedback section. And we get some great feedback in there. And we also get some follow-up email, great feedback. And mostly I hear customers that say, they might have been a little bit worried about, having a new product because everybody is a little bit skeptical about change. But once, they've gone through, like my colleague James Mayo, he does the pre-sales side of like demoing, and then they come to me for the project and we do the implementation. And once they've got to the end of it, like, okay, so when we did the pre-sales, we were showing what it can do. And then they get to me and we say, okay, you want that, it can do that. Now let's show you it does do that, and it does it well. So by the time they leave us, they're more than satisfied. They wanted a solution. We gave them a solution. They had a specific set of requirements and they needed to hit them to secure their endpoints, to comply with compliance, to secure with cybersecurity, and they leave us with that satisfaction, knowing that. So we get a good response, and in return, as I say, a lot of customers will then maybe look for another managed engine product as a solution. but also we formed that relationship, which is what we love to do with all customers, and we've got that trust then with each other. So we see customers coming back as well for a second project, and it might be a health check or a best practice review, something like that. But it forms really good relationships with us with that feedback.
Great. So moving back to that point, I mentioned remote endpoints, right? So I think after even COVID and the pandemic era, we've seen a lot of shift towards working from home, model, and now mostly we are in the hybrid workspace model. So how do you deal with that, and how do you help customers manage these fleet of endpoints, whether they're working from office or from different locations, even around the globe? Yeah, how do you guide them?
So we've had a few customers that have wanted that in the past. So again, the product does it very well because it's got these set of features. So we have customers. Let's go back to after the pandemic, obviously, and we've got returning to work. So it might be that they've been out of the office for a long time. So we need to make sure their machines are compliant, their endpoints are all secure. So you have network access control, which is a feature of Endpoint Central. You can do. You can quarantine machines if they're out compliant. You've also got remote working, so we have remote offices that you can deploy. So even if you're on a global scale, we can do that with the the beauty of Endpoint Central. So we can have those remote offices. Say we have a lot of management or a lot of teams that need to collaborate, but they do it in different sites. One thing the product does really well is you have remote locations. So you have something called IP scoping. So you can basically move from, say, UK office to office in India, and we'll go from one site of being managed, and the endpoint will be managed with another site. So there's real good features there to be able to move quite easily around sites. But when it comes to mobile devices, it can be a bit more challenging. And we've had a lot of customers that have come to us for, say, endpoint and patching, but then they see, actually there's mobile device management. They might have just purchased Patch Manager, but they also might have purchased endpoint but not quite utilizing all the modules. So endpoint mobile device management. So one thing we get there is they love the fact that you can secure your corporate data and you'll bring your own device data, and you can also really fine tune using the policies of what kind of one or two way traffic do you want for that data. Do you want that application to be able to share data with another one, or you've really got granular settings in there. But it's just reassuring for the organization, because obviously they're more interested in the corporate data, right, securing that. So we have the geo tracking and the fact that you can wipe corporate data if a mobile's lost, and you can pinpoint it. The customers absolutely love that kind of thing. So securing that data. Again, when we had users returning to work and they've got their own devices, then it's just that, again, it comes back to the application will reassure you in that way, because it offers all of those features and settings. So it's fantastic for that. And then obviously you can continue forward with having that hybrid setup. So there's a little bit for every scenario, it seems, in Endpoint Central, which is great.
Thank you. I think we've almost covered a lot of topics, and thank you for patiently answering all of my questions. So for our final question, what does Endpoint Central mean to you?
What does it mean to me? So I'll maybe just try and summarize it in a few words. So you've got simplicity of use, easy location because it's centralized, everything's in one place, and just reassurance that you have that solution for those issues out there, that you've got, all those challenges you face. Again, coming back to cybersecurity, compliance, you can get it all in a one-stop application. So, it's definitely a tool that again, a little bit biased because I already use it, but if there was anywhere else that I went, I would absolutely still recommend Manage Engine, even if they didn't use it, because it's fantastic at what it does. It's unique, and I really enjoy using it. And the good thing as well, just to kind of add, we have a lot of customers that come and they maybe want like, they're thinking of purchasing it and they've got a problem and they're not sure or they're not convinced, will it solve that? So customers can just sign up, 30-day trial, which is what we see quite common. And then what we do is a proof of concept with them. So they say, okay, we're thinking of purchasing this to cover, X, Y, and Z. And we say, okay, we'll download the trial and we'll show you how to do X and the ability to do Y and Z as well. So it's like a proof of concept. And that's a great way for getting the foot in the door and again building that trust with them. So sorry, that was really long-winded, wasn't it?
That's okay.
But it's great. It's simple to use. It's a great user interface. It's centralized, and it does exactly what you want it to do.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. I'm sure it would have been useful for a lot of people looking to invest into an UEM solution, and I'm sure it would have helped a lot of decision makers, on why they should choose Endpoint Central. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time. Thank you. So that brings us to the end of this episode. This is Yuli Kingsley signing off. Until next time.